Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, Square Wave 2. What are some signs of the time? Well, I can remember when I was just a little kid, hearing my mom and dad speak disparagingly about something called ambulance chasing. This was very funny to me. I pictured myself and my buddies running down the street chasing an ambulance. What would we do if we finally caught up to the ambulance? Later on, of course, I learned that ambulance chasing referred to hungry attorneys seeking clients who could sue someone for injuries sustained in an automobile accident. Such attorneys were not well regarded in those days. They were thought to be at the bottom of the legal profession. Accident suits required no special legal acumen, but the monetary rewards could be gigantic. Apparently these attorneys have overcome their bad reputation because cable TV is full of accident attorney advertising. I can name half a dozen attorneys off the top of my head. Each attorney promises to deliver the biggest award requiring almost no effort or inconvenience on your part. They will even come to you in the hospital within 24 hours. Each ad shows an elated client who has just received a six-figure settlement. Of course, these settlements are not typical, but they are used effectively as bait. Can anyone remember the days when only two drugs were advertised on TV? There was Geritol for weak blood and Speedy Alka-Seltzer for whatever else ailed you. Nowadays, our cable programming is constantly interrupted by prescription drug advertisements. This advertising may at first seem wasted because you can only get the drugs by order of a physician. But they must be effective because pharmaceutical companies pay millions of dollars to keep them on the air. We are told to ask our doctor if drug X is right for us. Good heavens! Can't we trust that our doctor is already doing what is right for us? Or maybe he or she is not aware of all the newest and greatest drugs on the market. Not so. Physicians are regularly visited by men and women called detail people who are hired by pharmaceutical companies to tout the latest drugs to the doctor and leave samples to give to their patients. Every drug advertisement ends with a long, frightening list of possible side effects. One side effect of a popular antidepressant is suicidal thoughts. Can you imagine that? Suicidal thoughts. Perhaps this drug should go back to the drawing board. A convicted felon for President of the United States? Sounds outrageous, doesn't it? But remember, Donald Trump is not a legitimately convicted felon, just a victim of a witch hunt and a rigged jury. He is not a felon in the true sense of the word. It's a little unclear how a jury of one's peers can be rigged, but in this case, it surely was rigged. At no time in American history has a public figure been so falsely accused and maligned. Okay, folks, enough nonsense. Remember that the jury pool is selected at random from voter lists, from DMV and tax records. Each potential juror is examined by both the prosecuting and the defense attorney and must be acceptable to both sides. With this in mind, how can a jury be rigged? And speaking of rigging, how do you rig over 60 judges who found no actionable claim that the election was stolen? And some of these judges were even appointed by Trump. 20 years ago, we began to hear the term Browning of America. This threatened the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant community. Technology and outsourcing were beginning to chip away at good jobs and threaten the American way of life. Finally, along comes a man who promises to make America great again, an irresistible promise. The same promise was made to Germany by Adolf Hitler in the 1930s. You would have to be blind to overlook the similarities between the Hitler message and the Trump message. Each one blamed national problems on scapegoats, Jews and immigrants. Trump supporters are an interesting, if dangerous group. Once they have decided on something, no amount of new information or evidence can alter their resolve. When asked about Trump's conviction, one lady said, quote, "Anyone can make a mistake. No one is perfect." End quote. Dialing the wrong telephone number is a mistake. Falsifying legal documents is not a mistake. The Trumpers imagine an insidious conspiracy involving President Biden, the FBI, and the Justice Department, all working together to persecute Trump. How in the world could such a monumental conspiracy be organized? It is unbelievable that many Republican congressmen and women align themselves with Trump. Sensing his popularity and potential power as president, they want to jump on the winning bandwagon. Unlike the typical Trump supporter, these representatives are well educated, knowledgeable, and surely know better. Although his performance in the June debate was far from stellar, let's remember that anyone can have a bad day. The president is only human. Trump is an effective speaker, but do not confuse his speech prowess with his actual message. They are not the same thing. His delivery is excellent. His message is disaster. 100 years ago, Trump would be selling snake oil and very successful at it too. Let's imagine Trump trying to convince us of some ridiculous claim. The earth is flat. Everyone knows that the earth is flat. Some very important people know that the earth is flat. Leading geologists and other scientists know that the earth is flat. Every scientific journal agrees that the earth is flat. Every day I get phone calls from some very important people commending me for saying that the earth is flat. After enough of this argument, some people are going to believe that the world is indeed flat. You may not be happy with either candidate and decide not to vote, but keep in mind that by doing this, you will be effectively casting a vote for Trump.